Good evening from the kitchen, folks. Tonight I'm going to have a go at doing my version of a cottage pie. So here are my main key ingredients. On the left I've got 400 grams of lean minced beef. I've got some baby spinach leaves. I've got some white mushrooms. I've got 7 potatoes, a green capsicum pepper, 2 red onions, 2 white onions, and some frozen peas. I would normally have added some carrots, but I don't have any. And then for seasoning, and this is completely optional, I'm going to put a squirt of barbecue sauce in to give it a bit of tangy smokiness, some paprika, a small amount of Cajun seasoning, some asafoetida, however you pronounce that, whatever that stuff is. I'm going to put some tomato garlic puree in and some pure garlic puree, as well as salt and pepper. By the way, how the heck do you pronounce that? Asafoetida? Maybe. So I've got no brew film for you today. This is a cooking film, and that's because everything that I've got conditioning isn't ready for me to try, so I can't do the final segment of film. All my fermenting vessels are full, so we're having a cooking film. It's been a while. So I'm going to begin by chopping my potatoes into large chunks. Et voila. So my spuds go in the saucepan, and then they're going to go on the hob to boil with some water and salt. And when the gas goes on and the heat goes on, and I'm now going to let these come to the boil until they're cooked. Next up, it's my onions. 1 white, 1 red, 1 white, 1 red. A pair of them in there and a pair of them in there. So the onions just need skinning and then cutting into small pieces. So it's simply a case of topping and tailing and then going down both ways like that. Nice and straightforward. And I've got that to do with the rest of them. So I'm going to put my onions in my frying pans. So the larger pile is going in the bigger pan, and the smaller pile, which were the smaller onions, is going in the smaller pan. All will be revealed. I'm now going to chuck a bit of olive oil into the onions on both pans. I'm now just going to move them around to ensure that the oil is covered and is on the bottom of the pan. Same in that one. You can see where the oil is, it's darker. So then it is gas on and heat on. Woof. So I've just turned the heat down a little bit, and I want these to start to sizzle. While I'm waiting for the onions to cook, I'm going to chop up 4 mushrooms and the green pepper in exactly the same way as the onion, into nice small pieces. And again, just like with the mushrooms, I'm just chopping the pepper up. No regularity to the size, it doesn't matter, I just want them to be smallish pieces. So there they are so far. Let's just have a look at the onion, that's coming on nicely. I just want it to brown a little bit before the next step. So now I'm going to reduce the size even further with my rocking knife. I don't know what you call this kind of a knife, but it's really good for just breaking down things. And that will do. So a quick update over here now. So these are starting to get a little bit of brownness on some of the edges. Same with these ones. And the potatoes are boiling away like mad, so I'll turn them right down now, because I don't want them to boil over. So I'm ready to add my minced beef now into my frying pan. And you'll note that it's already in strands because it's minced, and I'm just going to literally pull it out in little pieces and drip it in. So I'm breaking the strands up with my fingers and thumbs, rubbing them together. Wash your hands afterwards, it's fine. And getting that all in there. I don't want lumps. What I'm trying to do is just have smallish pieces. And there it is. So I'm now going to take a second wooden spatula, and I'm going to start to mix up the beef and the onion. So I'm just waiting for this to brown a bit more now before the next step. Okay, these onions over here are looking cooked enough to me, so I'm going to turn those off. And this is now looking brown enough to add the rest of the ingredients. So in goes my chopped mushroom and capsicum pepper. I'm saying capsicum pepper. The Americans say bell pepper. In England we just say pepper, but it is actually a capsicum pepper. The Aussies got that one right. Next in goes my peas. Oh, you can't beat a few peas. Lovely. So there it all is. I'm just going to give it a nice little mix around. Now my potatoes are still cooking, but I'm just going to borrow them for a sec to steal a bit of water. I'm just going to pour some of this into there, because what I want to do now is to build up some steam. So the steam will help to cook this, definitely. It will also mean it doesn't dry out, and I want to put the spinach on top, and I want it to all wilt down, and the steam will definitely help that. So I'm now going to pop this on top, and I'm just going to leave that to cook. I'm going to have a little tidy round, and then we'll come back to the potatoes. Okay, let's have a look at the potatoes. See if they're ready. Oh yeah, they're nice and soft. I can turn these off now. So it's time to make this film dramatic and steamy. There we go. That's as dramatic and steamy as it gets in my kitchen, folks. I definitely look better with a soft focus. So I'm going to put my spuds in a mixing bowl. And I'm going to add to my spuds a Boris Johnson, I mean a big knob of butter. So in that goes. Next I'm going to add a splash of milk. I'm not measuring this, you know, it's just a splash. The story so far. Let the masher meet the spuds. This is the hardest part of the entire recipe, in all honesty. And it ain't that hard. I do love a good bit of mash. And I've left the skin on, remember? I'm not scared. Skin's the best bit. And you won't even notice it in this recipe because I'm going to add the fried onions into this, and that will give the mash some texture. Now you know what I'm talking about. So I want the mash to have no lumps. I want it to be nice and smooth. I've been making mash this way for years. Right, in go the onions. So I'm going to mix these in. A very simple and straightforward process. And this part of the recipe is done. I can leave the potatoes to rest now. Right, back to my mixture. So off comes the filter, and let's turn this over now, and the spinach has wilted to virtually nothing. That's exactly what I wanted. Nice and steamy. There's a bit of liquid in the bottom, which is fine. That will evaporate off. I'm not worried. Let's not worry. Right, I'm going to start to add some of the seasonings now. So in goes the garlic, and I'm just basically emptying what was left in this tube. Same with the tomato puree. Again, I go through one of these every week, and I'm just going to finish it in here. Shop day tomorrow, the big shop. So we'll give it a little bit of tomatoey sweetness and a bit of acidity. Next in goes my assafoetida. That's how you say it, I'm going to say. I don't know. Comments, please. I'm going to put some of my Cajun seasoning in. Just gives it a nice little bit of zip. Not too much. And it's also very colourful now. Let's have a look. So I'm going to mix all this together, and I'm just going to let this simmer for another 5 minutes or so. I forgot my paprika, so I'm just going to chuck a little bit of that in as well. Probably a little bit more there than I wanted, but never mind. I actually love paprika, so I don't care. And that is now looking nice and done to me, so I'm going to turn the ring off and the heat off and just leave that to stand for a minute. Okay, it's now time for some spooning. So I've got my big spoon and I'm simply going to pop this in the bottom of my oven-proof dish and get it all in there and get it spread around nice and evenly in the bottom. And here it is. So now on top of my minced beef and vegetable mixture goes my potatoes. Now this potato with fried onion in it is something that I learned about from my mum, and she calls this galette lyonnaise, which would suggest a French origin. Now I don't know if this is truly what French galette lyonnaise is like, as I've never had it, but I've had my mum's galette lyonnaise all my life and it's wonderful, and I try and emulate it with what I'm doing. I'm guessing it definitely must have French origins because my mum's grandma was French. C'est très bon, Marie. So I'm just smoothing it over, getting the potato distributed nice and evenly. Of course I forgot to add one ingredient, didn't I? Wah, wah, wah. So I was going to squirt the barbecue sauce on top of the mince in between the potato. I forgot. So I'll just squirt a bit on it when I eat it. Finally, get a fork and make some nice track marks on the top, which will just give it a nice and little crunchy texture with the variation in the toastiness. Lovely. Right, all the ingredients in this are cooked, but I now want to bring it all together in the oven. The oven's on at 200. I've actually got some pumpkin in there cooking at the minute, so we might get a bit of steam. No, we didn't. So I'm going to put this above the pumpkin. In it goes. And that's going to stay in there at 200 for 30 minutes. So alongside my shepherd's pie, I'm going to have a little bit of cabbage for some greenery on the plate. So I'm just going to chop this up and pop it in the pan. I'm just roughly chopping it. It will soften nicely when it boils. And a little bit of salt on top, some water. And I'm going to put this on the ring on low and leave that to cook while the pie's in the oven. Right, I've got the dishwasher on, I've tidied the sides down, and the food is in the oven and on the hob. So it's just a case of playing the waiting game now, but I do feel like I've earned a beer, so if you don't mind. Not one I've brewed myself actually. This is a station porter from Wickwar Brewing. I bought this from B&M in Cambridge. Let's see what it's like. I don't need to worry about it being carved or not when it's somebody else's. Let's have a look at this in here though. It's a beautiful colour. It's not been in the fridge incidentally. It's just been in my utility room. It looks very, very nice. Have a smell. Nice and toasty. Oh, that's lovely. Wickwar Brewing. Get yourself to B&M. Right, I'll see you in 30 minutes, well 25 minutes now, when that's ready. So 30 minutes later, the cabbage is looking like it could be done. Let's have a look at the cottage pie. Oh yes. Oh, she's an absolute beauty. Just look at that. It's impossible not to be happy when you make something like this. I'm just going to leave it to sit for 10 minutes and then it's dishing up time. Okay, it's time to drain that cabbage. And while the cabbage is draining, it's time to dish up the cottage pie. Look at that. Oh, wonderful. Oh, it smells absolutely gorgeous. You can really smell the beef. And the spices and the herbs, they do come through. Wonderful. Anyway, the proof is in the eating, so let's just try and get a little bit. Oh wow. That is absolutely beautiful. So rich, so meaty. The different textures from the vegetables that are in there really add to this. And the herbs and spices that I've put in have really enhanced the flavours. But above all, the meat and the mashed potato. Oh, it's a match made in heaven. Can't go wrong with this, folks. Right, I'm going to enjoy it. And I don't even think it needs the barbecue sauce. So I'll catch you next time for the next film, whatever that may be. See you later, folks. I'm going to enjoy this. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is Stu Moss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.